5 romantic gestures that are actually major red flags. In this video, we're going to be going into what are those red flags to look out for so that you can avoid them, attract a healthy, happy, amazing relationship, and stop attracting relationships where things just fizzle out, it goes really bad, it ends badly, and then you're stuck at the drawing board yet again. Now, if you're ready to know the red flags so that you can attract a healthy, happy love, go ahead and comment "I'm ready" in the comments below. And hi, I'm Brody Boyd. If you don't know me already, I'm a Magnetize Your Man expert, and I've been helping single men for over 13 years to attract the right woman for them. So I have a unique perspective into the male brain, which we're going to be going deeper into it as well in this training. So if you like my background, my outfit, the content, or anything else in this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up right now. Would appreciate that. And make sure to also subscribe and hit the bell below for more incredible free trainings like this to attract the relationship and man that you want. And make sure to also share this training with a girlfriend or two who you feel could benefit from these powerful dating and relationship secrets. And lastly, listen all the way through for a surprising added bonus at the end of this training as well. So, sign number 5 is adjusting everything in his life for you. Now, this is a romantic gesture that's actually a red flag, because if a man is sacrificing too much, if he's leaving old relationships, old friendships, not romantic, of course, that's fine, but old friendships, if he's distancing himself from family, if he's giving up his career, if he's moving to a whole new city, if he's sacrificing too much to try to be with you and to try to make things work, it's a red flag, because it actually can show that he doesn't have a solid sense of himself, he doesn't have a solid sense of his masculine life purpose, and that he's just following you, and he's just willing to do whatever he can, whatever you want, but he doesn't have any of his own desires and his own direction, because this is going to cause a lot of problems. You might think it's great right now, it's so romantic, he's leaving all of his friends for me, he's leaving his job for me, he's moving to a new city for me, but long term, he's going to probably be reliant on you for direction. You're going to actually have to take the masculine role, and he's going to look for you to actually tell him what to do and where to go, and you're not going to be satisfied with that. Ultimately, it's in a lot of sense, it'll be like adopting a child rather than having a healthy, masculine, strong partner who's confident in himself, who has direction in his life. So you want to be very careful about also what you ask for him to sacrifice, and make sure that he's still being true to himself. Find ways that it's a win-win, where you're getting what you want and he's getting what he wants, so that he's not having to sacrifice too much to make the relationship work, because it could ultimately also lead to resentment of you and the relationship if he has sacrificed too much in that. And before we continue, I would like you to comment below which state or country are you watching from now as well. I'm always curious to hear that. So now sign number 4 is spending too much on you. Now, if you find a guy who's buying you too many things, really expensive things, watches, clothes, purses, activities, vacations, a super expensive ring, if you're at that stage, you want to be a little careful, because sometimes guys who are more insecure will try to use wealth and money they may have and buying you things as a way to try to compensate for what they feel they're deficient in. And also, it could be him trying to actually get you indebted to him, in a sense, feeling like now you owe him because he bought you so many things. Now you have to give him whatever, sex, love, affection. You have to basically do whatever he asks. If he wants you to be like a stay-at-home wife or whatever he wants, basically, he may now expect that of you because he's bought all these things for you. He's given you all this money or done all these things for you. So you want to be careful. You want to be able to receive from a man. That's really great, actually, that you're allowing to receive. But if it starts to feel like it's too much, you want to start setting some boundaries around that. Like, no, it's too much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So you want to flatter him. You want to appreciate him. Thank you so much. I really love the gesture. I appreciate it. And I feel like I'm good. I don't need that. I really don't want it right now. You're doing a lot for me. I don't. You don't need to do that much. You don't need to buy me that much. It starts to feel like a little too much. And do it in a graceful way. But again, thank you so much, and I appreciate it. And I really do. I still, I love being with you, and I want to, just end with an appreciation as well. So you can set those boundaries and don't let him invest too much into you, because there is a limit where it starts to become a little creepy. It can become a little bit domineering, and you don't want to get trapped in a situation like that, which can get very ugly as well. Sign number 3 is being overly possessive and jealous. So in the beginning, it might be like, oh, it's so sweet. He's like getting jealous, or he's always putting his arm around me, or he's always like making sure that I'm not talking to other guys or whatever. So it could be flattering a little bit in the beginning, being like, oh, he must really care. He's trying to keep other guys away from me. He's trying to, trying to make me his one and only. However, you want to be careful, because that could definitely cross the line at some point where now it's about him again, overly controlling you, being overly insecure. It can get really creepy where he starts to look at your phone. He starts to browse your messages, look at what you're doing on social media, if you're liking anyone's posts that you shouldn't be. So you can definitely cross that line. So you want to be very careful in the beginning, watching those signs, and also speaking to him. If you start to feel like it's crossed the line, say, hey, when you did that, that wasn't okay with me. It's okay for me to have friends. It's okay for you to have friends, and that doesn't mean that I'm going to leave you. If I'm going to leave you for some of those people, you probably wouldn't want to be with me anyway. So why would you try to keep them away from me? And the same goes for him. If it's so easy for him to go to other women, then he's actually doing you a favor by doing that, showing you his true colors. But yeah, you want to be careful with that and watch it as a potential sign to look for in the beginning, and keep it in check and set boundaries again, and speak out to it if you start to notice it started to get a little bit too much. Now, if you're liking this content so far, please again give it a thumbs up, a like below, share it with a girlfriend, and subscribe for more great future trainings like this as well below. So sign number 2 is saying I love you too soon. And if you guys are just getting to know each other, you don't even feel like you've really shared that much with him, and now all of a sudden he's saying like I love you, or I'm falling in love with you, or I'm feeling feelings of love for you, be careful with that, because it could be a sign that he's trying to manipulate you, that he could be a F-boy or a player, and he's just trying to get you to like him more. He's playing on your emotions, basically. He's like, oh yeah, I've seen that when I tell women I love them, that they start to get all ushy-gushy for me, and they start to become more emotional and more attached to me. So you want to be very careful that he's not using that as a sign, as a manipulative tactic. Now, the way you would know this, in my opinion, is based on how much time you spent together, how much he's actually asked you questions and got to know your personality, not just your looks, not just some superficial things. The vulnerable sides of you, who you really are, your background, your history, and with time as well. Love comes with time. And yeah, it could come pretty fast, but generally I'd say if it comes within, a week or 2 or 3, that's generally probably too soon. Even if you guys spend a lot of time with each other, for him to start feeling like he's falling in love with you, if it hasn't been enough time to really see the different sides of you in different situations and who you really are. So that's one sign to look out for that could be potentially problematic moving forward. Sign number 1 is proposing too soon. Now, this is similar to the last one, but if you find that he's talking about marriage, talking about kids, even proposing and actually asking you to be his girlfriend, asking you to propose, everything is a lot of this. So you're seeing with a lot of these, everything comes in balance, in moderation. So if there is a line that can be crossed where it becomes too soon or too much, and you want to be careful of that, because that can be a sign, a red flag, that this guy is actually manipulating you, that he may have other intentions. And where's this really coming from? Is he just trying to make somebody else jealous by being with you? Is he trying to are you a rebound and he's just trying to get over his ex as fast as possible? Does he just hate being alone by himself? Is he depressed? Does he hate himself? Is that why he's wanting to jump into something so quickly? So you just want to look for those signs and get to know him more. And again, if he does, it doesn't mean it's like now you cut off the relationship, but just tell him, I feel like it's a little too soon, or tell me more, like, why are you falling in love with me? Like, why do you really feel that way? And really listen with an open mind. It's so easy to feel flattered and be like, oh, it's so sweet, but really listen with an open mind of like, is he actually telling the truth? Is this actually making sense? Or do you feel like he's just kind of telling you what you want to hear? So you got to be really careful for that. Those early affection that comes way too quickly, this definitely can be a red flag to look for. Now, a question before we move to our bonus secret for today. I would love to hear from you. What are some other red flags that you've seen in a relationship? Either one that you've been in the past or one that you've seen with a girlfriend. What are some red flags that you think people should look out for, other women should look out for in those relationships that may not be so obvious? Now, for our final bonus secret sign today is wanting to have sex too soon. You probably already know this one. This is a common sign. But if a guy is really pushing for physical physical affection, sex, even kissing too soon, you guys have just met each other, or you haven't even really spent a lot of time together, that's definitely a red flag to look out for. And again, you don't have to totally cut him off, but have some conversations with him about that, and tell him how you feel, and say, you know what, I feel like it's just too soon for me. I'm not ready. I appreciate, I'm flattered, but I'm not there yet. And I'll let you know when I'm like getting closer to that, or I'll give you some signs, but I'm not there yet. And I hope you respect my boundaries with that. And again, I really am liking getting to know you, and I see there's a future potential here. So you want to set those boundaries gracefully, but you do want to set those boundaries and speak up so that he knows, because men aren't mind readers. He may not be aware. I highly recommend that you don't have sex, at least until you're in a committed relationship, exclusive relationship, if not engaged, or ideally after you're married, is the best. But you want to really wait, because you can get too attached too soon, and also the relationship it adds a whole other dimension to the relationship where things could get messier, and things can move quicker than you want. And of course, you can end up with things like STDs or unwanted pregnancies also. So you just want to be careful with that, going too fast with a guy. Now, if you'd like to discover a 30-second trick to make any man desire and crave you, go to our website, triggerhisdesire.com, triggerhisdesire.com, or you can click on the link below this video in the description, or in the comments. I'll put that special link as well, where you can go check that out. Highly recommend that. And also make sure, you already done the quiz. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend next watching our video, When a Man Deeply Loves You, he'll start saying these 5 things. Really important signs to look for if you haven't seen that already. So much love, take care, hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you again in our next powerful video very soon. Bye-bye.